Welcome to Gabalot Live. I'm Kim Walker, and today I'm going to talk about with you what you need to consider before you start a business. And I feel like this is the appropriate time to talk to some folks because I'm getting a lot of questions in my DMs and, of course, reaching out to me about what I need to know before I start a business. And this is not going to be the talk about websites and branding and, you know, incorporation, filling out your LLC, because I think even before you get to those steps, there are some mindset shifts that you really, really need to consider before you start a business. These folks who are out here selling sort of this kind of lifestyle, balling lifestyle, laptop on the beach. Nothing wrong with any of that for those who are motivated by that. But it also gives the illusion that running a business and starting a business is a very easy thing to do. Now, it can be if you have your systems and your organization and your knowledge already intact. You can do that easily without a lot of time. However, what I find in this space, and I've been in this space, I'm Kim Walker, by the way, for 5 years now. And when I came into the space, there there were there were big gaps. There was the people kind of at the top of the food chain who were doing, who had influence of millions of people and had big YouTube accounts, and there was that group, and I won't name in those groups. I'm not trying to drop names here. And then there was kind of people who were sort of entering at the lower level, I would say, but had some success rather rapidly because, 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, pre this last few years, you could pretty much start your business, say I'm starting a business, post online, people would respond. Now we have a lot of things tugging at us. We have a lot of distractions. And so and plus, and I'll get to that in a moment. Plus, these social media platforms are restricting reach. So organic reach has gone down tremendously. And, you can post and the vast majority of those who follow you will not see the post. So I would say roughly 5%, maybe 10. 10 is being generous, but about 5% of your actual following will see your post at the time that you post it. So gone are the days of kind of posting and ghosting and people will just flood your inboxes with inquiries or will just automatically buy your products and services. Those days are kind of behind us now because the social media platforms have gotten smart. There's a lot of competition. Entrepreneurship exploded during the last few years. And so now you really need a strategy and a plan before you get started. But I'm not here to talk about the social media aspect. I'll do that in other trainings and you can come back. You can follow me wherever platform you are. And if you have any questions as we go along, give Restream, which is what I'm restreaming from, give them permission to see your comments because I won't see your comments as I am posting live and as I'm talking to you, but I will respond to you if you send me a question or a message. Today I want to talk about, and I've kind of tailored a message like this before, but I really kind of need to reemphasize some mindset things that need to happen. These are the 10 things I think you need before you start a business in 2023. Real talk. You need to get this nailed down. And if you've already started a business, then go back over my list at the end of this and see if you've done these things, if you are getting to a point where you are stagnant or you are not growing or you're not making money. So these are the 10 things as I see it. And this is based on just, again, 5 years of being in this industry of consulting and working with business owners and working with corporations and organizations as well. You need to have this down. Seriously, you need to, before you just even think about, when you seeing your friend, oh, it seems like she's doing great. And there are a lot of people that are, but understand that there are a lot of people out here that are struggling too. And the reason why typically is because they don't have these 10 things that I'm about to tell you about in order. All right. And not necessarily in this order, but you kind of need to really think about these 10 things. So the first one being vision. I know that sounds kind of obvious that you need a vision for what you want to do and where you want to go. But I work with people who simply they have an idea, they've got some things kind of out there in the universe, but they don't have the vision nailed down. When I say vision, it needs to be something big. It needs to be something that is beyond really your current reality. And it needs to seem like it's completely impossible for you to do. That's how big your vision needs to be. So I'm going to kind of tailor this around money because it's just easy to do numbers. At least for me, I'm a numbers person, so it's easier for me to do numbers. But money doesn't have to be necessarily your motivation for your particular vision. But if you're doing, let's say, a lot of what has been sold in this space is, get a six-figure business, get a six-figure business. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like Fat Joe. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Things are high. Things are high. Sorry about my Fat Joe invitation there, but I think that's the funniest thing, and I think he's so right. Things are high. Six figures, depending on where you are in the country, is not going to get you very far, and certainly not going to get you a business that's going to survive over the long term. Now, it depends on where you are in the six-figure spectrum. If you're just trying to get to $100,000, I'm going to tell you right now, depending on where you are in the country, you're going to run out of money pretty fast. Okay, it's not a bad goal. It's it's something that you can strive for at the beginning, but you need to be thinking really honestly in this market, in this climate, seven figures and beyond. I'm being completely honest. Now, that seems like such an exorbitant amount of money, and it seems so far beyond. But your vision needs to be big. And again, I'm just using money as an example. For some people, money may not be the primary motivator. For some people, it could be time freedom. It could be I need to be, available to be with my family, to be a caretaker, to do nonprofit work, to do a cause, to do a ministry. It could be something, your vision again, your vision is your vision, but it needs to be big. It needs to be all encompassing. It needs to be something that on the surface of things, it doesn't look like you can attain it. Okay. But it needs to be something that you believe, even if no one else believes it. Your vision needs to be big enough that you believe that you can achieve it. Okay. So I'm just using again money as an example, just to kind of deal with the numbers. So let's say your vision is to be a seven-figure business, and I'm not touting that because I don't deal with people. I'm going to promise you six figures in 6 days. I'm not that person. If you want that person, there are plenty of those folks out there. I'm the person who's going to tell you the real thing. I'm going to look at your real numbers. I'm going to look at your real business, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Some people don't like that blunt approach. I'm not into trying to play games. I'm telling you, this is what it's going to take, and this is what is required of you. So let's just use seven figures as a goal. I want to have a seven-figure business one day. All right. That's your vision. All right. The second thing is that you need to, again, the vision is going to be big, but the second thing you're going to need is that you need to have a goal. I've said this repeatedly. I'm going to keep saying it repeatedly. This is my space. I'm going to tell you, you need a goal. But here at the beginning, again, this is before you start. You want to just have one goal in mind. Again, the vision might be the, $1 million business, but the goal has to be one specific thing. One specific thing. Some of us out here, we're doing too much. We want too much. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a lot. That is awesome that you want a lot, that you have a lot of ideas, you've got a lot of things you want to do. Great. Some of our plates are too full, and that's the reason why we burn out. And our minds are cluttered with a lot of things, and that is the reason why we're missing the mark on what we need to do. So for the next 30 days, I want you to think in this way. No, you're not going to get $1 million business in 30 days, but I wanted you to think about one goal that will help you move forward in your vision casting within the next 30 days. So let's say, and I'm just again throwing out numbers for an example, that I just want to, for you starting out, I want to seek out one client. And for some of you, that may be a monumental task, seeking out one client, one customer. What? Yes, you want hundreds of customers, you want a bunch of customers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about for you just starting out, think about one goal. So for the next 30 days, I'm going to try to figure out how I can sell to one person. Just to one. That's it. Because some of us are trying to sell to everybody. You're trying to sell to grandma, you're trying to sell to the neighbor, and you're wearing out your existing network of people because you really haven't identified who it is that you want to sell to. Nothing wrong with grandma who likes your post every day. Nothing wrong with that, because those are going to be your supporters. Your family and friends are going to be supporters. But for you to have the expectation that only family and friends should support me and you get mad with them because they don't, let's not do that. Family and friends, and I'm going to save that topic for another day about working with family and friends. But they can be advocates, they can be supporters, they can be referral partners, they can tell people about what you got going on, but most of them are probably not your ideal customers, depending on what your type of business that you have. They're not your customer. So don't get mad because they won't buy your product or service. Don't get mad because you're saying, oh, my family and friends not supporting me. When are your family and friends your target customer? Are they your ideal prospect? If they're not, keep it moving, and it's okay. It really is okay. You've got to be, which is going to take me to my points later about that around customers. But again, start with the vision. Start with a huge vision, a big vision for you, and then we're going to get to one specific goal, just one. Maybe your goal is to make a certain dollar amount. Let's say you need to make your first $100, $1,000, whatever that goal is, but only really seriously for 30 days, focus on one thing. I'm going to tell you, it's going to change your perspective. It's going to change your life. It's going to quiet the noise. It's going to help you center and focus so that you don't burn out over the long haul. One thing, one goal. Listen to me, okay? The third thing is, once you have a goal in mind, I need you to have a plan. Real talk, goal planning is my thing. It's kind of my thing. Goal, set the goal, but now you got to have a plan, because now you've got to have some type of mechanism, some type of organization, some type of productivity to help you actually put that goal, to get it from goal stage to something that you actually are doing. And a lot of times we start at just goals, but then we don't put together a plan. Okay? Plans are tangible, they are visual, and they are written. Write it down. Write it down. If you write it down, okay, you've got to have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be fancy in the beginning. The plan, I like, the tricks, the bells and the whistles, but I'm kind of, there's some people out here who are, when I say that planning game, the planning game that's a whole nother industry that is really, really popping right now. I'm saying get a notebook out. If you're not ready for that level, I have planners. I have digital planners. I particularly like digital planners. Those are my favorite because I like to be able to have access across devices. So that's the reason why I like digital planners, and that's the reason why I sell them. But let's go old school. You haven't gotten that far. Remember that old composition notebook? get out a piece of notebook paper. I don't care. Write it on the back of your, just write it down. Write out a plan. For some of you, you may be a visual learner, so you may need to draw out the plan. Others of you are writers, and so you need to write out steps, but get it done. Get it done. Write it down. Again, on the one goal, not the 50 goals, not the 500 goals, not that 250 to-do list, the one goal. Because again, we're trying to focus and narrow and get something done. 30 days, not a lot of time when you really think about it. So let's, and we've got a 30-day month coming up in June. So that would be a great place to start. So again, vision, goal, plan. Now you need a timeline. We've got to put some dates to this thing. We've got to, I've already kind of given you one. I said 30 days. So you can start June. You can start today. You can start tomorrow. However, whenever you start, just start. You figure it out. Life is still going to happen. Please understand, everybody's kind of always looking for these ideal times. I know we get busy. We've got lots of things going on. For me, there's been a lot of death and sickness, around in my life. Life is going to happen. Life happens. So there's never really, honestly, an ideal time. But you have to assess your life and be honest about what's going on in your life to figure out what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. But you must have a timeline in the mind. I'm giving you 30 days. For some of you, you may need to figure out how you need to get yourself together for the next week, for the next 7 days. But have a timeline. Have a timeline. Have a timeline. Be timely. Okay? All right. So that's at number 4. So we've got vision, goal, plan, and number 4, timeline. Which brings me to the 5th thing that you need to have. I don't know how folks are walking around here and don't have a calendar. It honestly, it boggles the mind. Now, I was a person, back in the day, I could remember a whole lot of stuff. Listen, this body gets older. These minds get more cluttered. You don't remember everything you used to remember. Okay? Put it on the calendar. You can't remember all these events you got to go to, these meetings you got to be into, these conferences you got to be a part of. Because we're about to meet folks to death. Now, I thought maybe we would kind of fix some of that meeting stuff within the pandemic. We didn't fix it. We just added more Zooms to it. But it's fine. If you've committed to all these different things that you're a part of in organizations and commitments, and if you've got it, then, hey, you got to get on these meetings and, of course, the work, and on top of the work responsibilities and the work meetings, and the work meetings that happen on Monday and Friday. Now, anybody who's out there doing that, I'm going to tell you straight up, if y'all having meetings on Monday and Friday, you're just a sadist. You're cruel. People's mindsets are trying to just wrap their head around getting themselves together from the weekend or getting ready for the weekend, and you want to have a Monday and a Friday meeting. I'm going to tell you right now, if you as a boss and you're doing that, you're foul. And I get to say that, fine. All right. But anyway, have a calendar, people. All of our devices have some kind of built-in calendar. And if you need to go old school, pull that calendar off the wall. Everybody sends you a calendar every year. Okay? Get the calendar. Write stuff down on the calendar. That's going to help you with the timeline for getting stuff done. Write it down on the calendar. The reason why you don't, because let me tell you what happens. For those of you who are not calendar people, let me tell you what you do. You double book, you triple book, you quadruple book. And then you say, hey, yeah, I can do it. And then you accept a meeting with somebody, or you say, hey, we're going to do this at this time. And then by the time you really look and see that you've accepted 45 different invitations, and so now you got to go back and make up all the lies for why you can't meet the commitment. Because you're overbooked. Write it down on the calendar. I'm going to tell you right now, if I don't write your stuff down on the calendar, it didn't happen, I'm not coming. I'm not going to be able to reach you. You're not going to be able to reach me. And the calendar I recommend, I personally like the Google Calendar, but every entity, no matter what your email is, has a calendar. And if you're not into electronics, pull that calendar off the wall. Remember, Grandma used to always have a calendar. Grandma had that old calendar from the insurance man on the wall. Okay, write it down on the calendar. Put your to-dos, your appointments, um, your commitments again. And we're working on right now. We're getting our business ready. Have in mind when you want to launch that. But we're going to put it on our calendar. You're going to set a date. See, y'all out here wedding planning, and you plan for the wedding, and you put a date out there. You need to do pretty much everything in life with a date in mind. Real talk. All right. So where are we now? We're at vision, goal, plan, timeline, calendar, which brings me to my sixth point, which is a planner. You need a planner. You need a planner. And if you can't, you don't want a sophisticated planner, you don't want to buy the $50 planner, fine. Get a journal or notebook. Write this stuff down, people. Write it down. You're not going to remember this. You're not going to remember it. Now, me, I like I like digital sources because I like to be able to connect across devices. One tool I like is OneNote, and I'm giving you tools as I go along here as I think about things that I use. And if you want a more detailed business tool checklist, you can just message me tool or comment tool, and I'll send you my full checklist of things that I use. But anyway, get that planner, get that journal, get that notebook, because again, we're trying to fix stuff here. We're trying to get stuff done. And some of us, I'm going to be honest with you, I have moved away from the whole hustle mentality because it's not sustainable. It doesn't work. All it does is burn people out, stress people out, make your hair fall out, make you get fat, give you hypertension, so on and so forth. The hustle mentalities make you abuse substances. It's not sustainable. So I'm embracing healthier models for getting things done, for being a fulfilled person, for being a goal crusher. I talked to you about that last time, but doing it in a way that is systematic, that is sustainable, and that considers your self-care. Because we want to become accomplished people, but we also want to be well-rounded, sane, well people. And so this kind of hustle mentality, honestly, has done damage to us. And so I'm trying to work on helping people with systems that's going to help them achieve what they want to achieve, but also do it in a way that keeps self-care at the forefront, because self-care is paramount. So we got vision, goal, plan, timeline, calendar. Now I'm getting ready to switch modes here, because those are kind of things that you kind of need to be thinking about, and you're going to write all of that stuff down and put it in one place so that you can go back and revisit it. That's before you get to the actual technical pieces. And I deal with technical pieces, but right now I'm trying to get mindset right. We got to get these mindsets right, really, because folks are out here wilding. Okay, so as we transition now, even if you haven't started a business, I want you to think about number 7 would be your business idea. And when I say idea, I'm really more speaking of what type of business do you want? How do you want to serve? How do you want to interact with people? How do you want to be online? Do you want to be offline? Do you want a brick and mortar standing place? Do you want to be front facing, people facing, where you actually have to interact with people face to face? Because some people need that. Some, extroverted personalities need that person to person contact. Do you want to be on the phones? Do you want to be primarily in the DMs? You've got to figure that piece out. Because what happens is a lot of times people pick business models that are counterintuitive to their personalities. And I've done that several times. And so I had to kind of step back, and I'm just going to be transparent for you. I had to step back and it's like, you know what? This is not part of the vision. Going back to number one, this is not part of the vision. And I find myself off, on these other tangents, doing this kind of stuff. This wasn't the vision. So that's why you start with the vision. Then you have to be, completely self-aware so that you know how you like to interact with people and what your strong suits are. If you're not trying to be the next influencer, then don't do it. If you don't want to, if you don't want to influence people through social media, then don't go that route, because that is a business model too. I know lots of people who run successful businesses would never engage in social media whatsoever. Don't even like it that much. That's, again, it's all about being truthful to how you want to show up in the world. So for some, that may mean being on social media every single day, all day, 3 or 4 times a day. That, again, that is a business model. For others, it may be I just post, 2 or 3 things when I have events going on that I want to let people know about, just simply for the advertisement and the marketing of a particular event or product or service. But you've got to be clear about what your business idea is going to be. And so I'm speaking primarily of type, how you plan to interact, how you want to show up in the world. Because if you hate social media, then why are you out here trying to be an influencer? That doesn't work. It's counterintuitive for how you want to show up in the world. So again, think about your business idea, how you want to interact with people. And then if I'm here, my business is about helping people get the systems right and get the organization right. But again, be honest about how you want to interact with people in the world and how you want to show up. So that brings us to number 8. Number 8 is, what is it that you're trying to sell? What you're trying to do? What is the product? What is the service? And guess what my number is for the next 30 days? You're going to think of one thing, not 200 things, not 500 things, not 50 things. You're going to think of one product or service that you want to sell and to present to people. Just one. Just one. Because what's going to happen, especially at the beginning, is that you're going to find out if you can be committed for 30 days to one thing. First of all, it tells people, hey, okay, this person is committed to this. All right. This is what they're doing. I told you earlier that, again, social media, organic reach is being restricted. So if you're talking about it for 30 days, you've got 30 chances of someone finding out about the product or service that you're trying to sell. Also, 30 days gives you a good amount of data to figure out what's working, what's not working. And so you want to focus on one product or service for the next 30 days. Okay. All right. Now, even if you're not selling anything, again, I'm really primarily, again, this is before you start, but just think about the idea of selling to one thing and speaking to, which brings me to my next, number 9, one customer, your target audience. And when I say target audience, you really need to be thinking about one person, one particular person you need to have in mind, what they look like, where they live, their education, their jobs, their behaviors, their interest. Who's going to be interested in the thing that you're trying to sell? Who can afford the thing that you're trying to sell? Who wants to buy the thing that you're trying to sell? You need to have a very specific person in mind. Doesn't mean that you will find that person, but what's called, the industry calls it an avatar, a target customer, an ideal customer, ideal client. But you really need to think of who and you know what? I tell in my practice, I tell people, give that person a name. Give them a name, give them an age, tell me where they live, you're going to give, because you want to have both demographics and psychographics. Psychographics deals with the behavior and the actions and the interest. The demographics deals with the physical, tangible things and characteristics about that person. You want to deal with both, but right now you're just trying to create your little avatar of who you're speaking to, because once you have a visual and you have a handle on who that is, then you feel like you're talking to that person. And that person, guess what, if you've got them nailed down, they're going to feel like you're talking to them. Okay. All right. So we're at vision, goal, plan, timeline, calendar, planner, business idea, product or service, and now number 9, target audience. And I really want, and I at this stage at the beginning, I don't even want you to think audience. I want you to think person, one ideal person. Okay. And then here's this is a little bit, again, I'm a little bit different. Now we're going to deal with a value proposition, and I may just do a teaching on all, value propositions, but this is the 10th one. And I want to end with this, because what happens is that when people get into this industry and they realize how difficult it is and how hard it is, they lose sight of, number one, the vision, and they get off and they, start doubting themselves. Imposter syndrome comes into play, all of those different things. So the 10th thing you need to have, and you really need to sit down and figure this thing out, you need to be fearless. You need to have fortitude. You really, absolutely, if you're trying to do this right here, because guess what? Whether you do this either part-time or full-time, this is your entity. This is your creation. This is your baby. And so you're going to be the person who's taking care of it. You're going to be the person who is crafting it. You're going to be molding it. You're going to be shaping it. You're going to be determining what it looks like. And so you have to really be very, very singular focused on, again, what? Number one, the vision, because you're going to have things that are going to distract you. You're going to have life things that happens. You're going to have skill set, like, oh, wow, I didn't know about that. And so you might have to, consult with somebody else. You might have to call somebody. There are a lot of different things that are play. There are a lot of moving parts to this whole entrepreneurial game. And so you've got to have fortitude. And I like this particular, and the fearlessness, and not worry about what people are going to say. Because if you're one of those folks who worry about what folks are going to say, and again, that's why, this social media game really is kind of a trap, because we have sort of put our value, our self-worth into likes and follows. And that's really a dangerous place. Now, you have to think about this stuff as tools to, ends to a means. But you cannot get to a place where what people like or say or comment actually affects your self-esteem and self-worth. And so fortitude, I like this definition. This is straight out of Webster. Fortitude means the strength of mind that enables a person to encounter danger or bear pain or adversity with courage. Strength of mind that enables a person to encounter danger or bear pain or adversity with courage. You've got to be able to, you can't have a thin skin. You've got to have a thick skin to be in this business, seriously. And not so much that you don't care about what people think, because you should, because that how your customers react to certain things. You don't want that, kind of corporate mindset, the bottom line at all costs, because there are people on the other side of it. So yes, you want to be attentive to what people are saying, to their feedback, to how you serve them, to what they want. You have to be attentive to those things, but you can't be, again, internalize this to the point where it begins to affect your self-esteem. You've got to know who you are. You've got to know what, again, the vision is, what you're trying to achieve, how you want to show up in the world, how you want to serve. You got to think about all of those things and be at the forefront, because guess what? You're going to have a bad review. You're going to have a bad customer. You're going to make some mistakes. You are going to miss the mark on some days. Some days you're going to be over it. Some days you're going to be, done with it. But at the end of the day, again, if this is what you really, really want to do, you've got to stick to it, and you've got to bear it and be able to manage the quote unquote dangers, the pains, and the adversity that comes along with this journey. Now, once you can get it and you get it down, yeah, you can walk away from it. In fact, you should be building a business that you can walk away from for a time, that you can actually take a vacation, that you can actually really make money in your sleep. You should be building systems like that. But if you have a front-facing business where you have to interact with customers, through during business hours, you still need systems in place to make sure that it runs smoothly, so that each day is managed and operating properly. So fortitude is the thing that I think I want to end with today as I talk to you. And I hope this helps. And if it does, you can support this stream by buying me a smoothie. I don't drink coffee. You can buy me a smoothie. I'm going to work on this health kick here, but not health kick. It's a lifestyle, trying to make some transitions here. Also, if you want to work with me in June, in fact, I didn't mention this earlier, but May is Small Business Month. But in June, when I'm going to be working with people, some of you may have some opportunity to try to get some things ready for the summer. I believe that summer months are good planning months, although you may be vacationing, getting out in the sun, great, doing all of that. All of that's awesome. But if you are seriously trying to think about getting your business started, this is really the optimal time, I think, to go ahead and get going, because what you want is to make sure that you have a good business model in place before the holidays, because holidays are the crunch time. Holidays are the worst times to start stuff. You want to get your stuff together before then, and this is a good time to do it. So for the month of June, I'm going to be working with a group of business owners in my Build a Business Bootcamp. If you're interested, message me the word BUILD, BUILD. Just message me BUILD or START. Those are usually the two words that I will respond to. You don't have to give me a whole lot of extra. BUILD or START. If you start there, then we can go forth and have the conversation. But I want to get you. This is going to be a live course. I do have a do-it-yourself self-paced model that I do run as well, but I'm going to be teaching this live so that you can get an opportunity to know me. I can ask questions while I'm on line with you. And so if you're interested in that, again, we're going to start June 1st, Thursday, June 1st. So we don't have a whole lot of time. So you need to go ahead and get enrolled. You can go to my website. That's GABALOT, Gabalot.net. I will have details there. It's the Build a Business Bootcamp, Build a Business Bootcamp. I'm going to work with a group of entrepreneurs who are ready, who have considered the things that I've talked to you about today. And it doesn't matter where you are in your business, because the course is modeled primarily for new entrepreneurs, but also for entrepreneurs that may have been in business for a while, but they're stuck and they're stagnant. And a lot of times when I'm consulting with people, with business owners in particular, that the reason why they're stuck is because there's something in their business processes that they haven't thought about or they have never done. And that is what's keeping them stuck. So they can't scale and move on to the next level. So this course is designed, and it's going to be, again, course/coaching program that's going to be designed to help you get your business going so that the vision comes forth, the vision that I believe that comes only from the divine, But for those of you who are faith people, and if you're not, that's cool too. I work with everybody. I'm not one of those, you got to be saved to work with me. You can be what you need. What I'm looking for are folks who are ready to do some work and ready to get some stuff done. And so we don't have to align politically or religiously, as long as there's mutual human respect. Then we can roll with it. I can roll with it. I love everybody. I like some of y'all. I'm just kidding. All right. But anyway, I'm done. This is again, contact me, my Facebook page or Instagram. Gabalot Group is on most of my handles. Gabalot Group is most of my handles. My website is gabalot.net. You can reach out to me again from whatever platform that you're listening to me from. You can just hit start or build, and we can go and have the conversation from there. And I'll send you all of the information that you need to go ahead and enroll and get started. Again, I'm looking for action takers. I'm looking for folks who are ready to go. I'm looking for people who are ready to get started and not make excuses, because, the world is full of excuses and people who want to blame. It's time out for that. This life is very short. Life is but a vapor. And so, but some of you are been sitting on visions for years, and it's time to give birth to them. It's time for them to put you, they're people who want, guess what? Who want what you have to sell, who want what you have to buy. This is your vision. This is your baby. Get it done. Stop fooling around. Seriously, real talk. And, work with me. I'm ready to work with you. All right. Okay. So take care. God bless. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Touch some grass and some sun and have an awesome time. Again, Gabalot, or just message me, DM me. Seriously, don't DM me that foolishness now. Bots, you will be blocked. DM me, build or start, and join me in this life-changing journey on June 1st. And we'll meet weekly. But again, I'll give you all the details. Right now, this is not about that. And again, if you just have any questions, basic questions for me, I will answer those as well. Alrighty, take care. God bless. And I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.